Hey everybody, welcome back to my comic book review. These comic books are comics that were released last week, January 13th, 2010. That's the wrong way to say it. We have to say 2010. And before we get into those, I did start a new series thanks to a suggestion from Pete from Pete's Basement. You guys should be watching them. They put new videos up every Tuesday. I noticed this Tuesday they didn't. They're probably going to be uploading their new video on Wednesday, probably like I'm going to be doing. So anyway, this was a suggestion from Pete's Basement. I jumped on to number 604 of Thor. A lot of people were mentioning how Thor has gotten a lot better. This was last month's issue, and this month's issue was Thor 605, which was also not released on the week of the 13th. They said to jump on to the story from like 600. Unfortunately, Thor 600, 602 are sold out thus far at Midtown, or 601 and 603, whatever. Two of them are sold out. So I started off with the two recent ones and figured if I liked it, I'd go back and I'll find a way to get the other three. I like the series. I would highly suggest this series for those of you who are fans of Thor at all. In this issue, really quick, Doom takes Asgardians and turns them into his slaves, basically, and Thor shows up at the end. And then in this one, you have the epic battle between Thor and Doom, which leads at the end into Doom has like some huge machine that's powered by Asgardian powers, and yeah, the next part is basically big Doom machine versus Thor, and we'll see what happens there. I enjoyed it. For two issues, the artwork is great. The storyline is solid, and it's Thor. If you like Thor, you'll love the Thor comics. I'm enjoying it. I would highly suggest this to anybody who's interested in. Pick up number 604 and 605. 604 is kind of in the middle, but I caught up pretty fast. You catch on to the story. Really good series. I would definitely suggest it. Okay, now into this week's comic books, the 13th, 23rd. Okay, first off, Action Comics, number 885. Still doing this new Krypton shit. I'm starting to get really annoyed with this whole thing. Sam Lane wants Nightwing and Flamebird. Guardians on their side now, along with Mon-El. And there's a bomb at the Stars Lab. And there's a huge explosion to be continued. I do not read the Captain Atom story at the end because I really could care less about Captain Atom. No offense to you guys that like Captain Atom. Like I said, if you haven't been collecting this, if you're not a Superman diehard fan, just skip the comic completely. Matter of fact, I'm going to be saying that a lot for a while. Next, Nation X number 2. Speeding through these this week. Too many stories to really mention. My favorites in this one were Jubilee and Gambit. You also get Lore, whose story was and I keep forgetting this guy's name, but he's also in a brief story. Those two were, I guess you could say, Jubilee and Gambit stories were the best, and the other twos were basically Jubilee's going to the island. Gambit is, he got supply. It's a nice story. Nation X is nice side stories to the whole Uncanny X-Men right now. All the stuff that's going on. I'd pick it up. I enjoyed. It's nice little side stories, and come on, it's Gambit. It's Gambit and Jubilee. Jubilee's been gone for a shit long time in the comic book, the X-Men community. Why not? Give it a shot. And next, okay, it's the last time I'm going to be mentioning this title on my Dark Avenger reviews because it's the last comic I will be getting. Batman 695. I don't know why. It's not doing anything for me anymore. It's not my type of comic. Red Robin caught my interest in the ending of the first storyline. This comic lost me at the very beginning of its second storyline with Dick Grayson as Batman. I had no urge to continue this series. I was bored. It's not good. I'm sorry. Maybe it's because I don't read Batman usually. Batman's not my type of comic. No offense to you Batman fans. I just got it because Bruce is gone. Bruce is coming back. I'll be reviewing Lost in Time with Bruce Wayne coming back as Batman, and I'll probably, if Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne throw down to pick who's going to be Batman, I'll get that. But I'm done with Batman for now. I'm sorry. It's not as good as when Bruce was Batman. Maybe when Bruce is Batman, I'll be interested again. In my opinion, I think DC's doing what they did to Hal Jordan, only at a... Hal Jordan, it took, what, 10 years before he became Green Lantern again? Bruce Wayne, less than a year. They're trying to get people... They're trying to make crappy storylines, so when Bruce Wayne comes back, everybody's going to pick up the comic and love it. Okay. Your call, not mine. Continuing the gauntlet. Amazing Spider-Man 617. Got news on Spider-Man, but we'll save that for later. Basically, the Rhino is no longer the Rhino. There's a new Rhino. The old Rhino is a bouncer at a club. Stick with me on this, folks. So now there's a new Rhino. That's the entire plot of this story, is to introduce a brand new guy as Rhino. Rhino no longer has the Rhino suit. He's completely out of it. The suffering effects are he's a very big man. Big deal. But yeah, there's a new Rhino. One shot. One part. Electro sucked. It was 3 parts. Sandman was okay. It was 2 parts. Rhinos was... and it was 1 part. Now watch Mysterio be like 3 and 4 parts, and it's going to have... Oh, I'm afraid to see what Mysterio's next week's comic review. Watch me be saying good stuff about that, but I don't know. I'm just glad there's good news about Spider-Man, or possibly good news. It depends how it goes, how you're going to how the poster's taken up, and how Marvel issues it. We'll talk about that later. So it's up to you if you've been collecting the Gauntlet. It's okay artwork. It's better than the artwork from Electro, and it's just as nice. I like the artwork in this comic. It was nice. It was nice, and you got a nice backup story to what happened to Rhino. There's a little backup story after the actual comic. That's why it's a little bit thicker than usual on what happened to Rhino when he got out of jail and, you know, gave up being Rhino. Next comic. Wow, we're really going through them. There's only a few left. The Invincible Iron Man, number 22. Well, Ghost shows up at the hospital. Pepper wakes up and she finds out that the experiment didn't work, and Tony Stark's still out of it. So who do they call? The man on the cover, Dr. Stephen Strange. And the last few panels show Stephen Strange going into Tony Stark's mind and saying the world needs its Iron Man. This is going to lead all the way until the end of Siege, because I saw the cover to the last part of Siege and it has Iron Man on it. So obviously Iron Man's going to be out for at least another 3 months. He's going to be in this vegetative state, or when he comes out of his vegetative state, it's going to lead into the last part of Siege. So at least 2 or 3 months of him being a vegetable, I'm expecting. Maybe, well actually, the last part of Siege is in April. January, February, March, April, yeah, 3 more. I'm expecting at least 2 more issues of vegetable Tony Stark. And yeah. Okay, moving along. Okay, Booster Gold, 28. Basically, there's another time traveler, and Booster Gold has to stop her from preventing the flight that turned Hank Handsaw into the cyborg. Cyborg Superman caused the catastrophe in Coast City and destroyed and killed millions of people. So Booster Gold had to prevent her from preventing Handsaw from becoming Cyborg. You know, wrap that around your brain. And in the last panel, you see Cyborg Superman, and it says to be continued. It was good to see Cyborg Superman, you know, the old... And this is Dan Jurgens, so when you see this artwork, it's like seeing stuff from back in the 90s for me. And, man, that picture is a... I'll show you guys. I gotta show you guys, because it's like a blast from the past to me. I didn't read the side story in this comic either. Do a little zoom in, and then we will come back with the last comic. Do a zoom in. This is like a blast from the past, folks. Can't get any better than this. And with that, I'm getting the finger, so we will come back, and for some really weird reason, we got through this very fast. We'll come back and finish off the last comic of the week, and then get into some comic book news. So I'll see you guys there.